I wish for peace on earth. I'm sure that you are wish for peace on earth. If everyone on earth are looking for peace, true peace on earth,
Can I have somebody's hand so we can do the...
let
Anybody else?
our mother knows about our spirit and emotion. So let's meditate 1 minute, okay? For world peace. Thank you. 1 minute. So beautiful. Thank you, Mother Earth.
Yes.
Beautiful day.
Yes.
Beautiful people.
Yes.
Beautiful land. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for gracing the park and gracing our park.
Thank you so much.
どうもありがとうございます。
ありがとう。
Why?
Emancipate yourself. Emancipate yourself from the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself.
Okay. Right. Woo!
Sanae will read the Japanese original poem. I will read the translation.
Ten-nyo, Wako Noriko.
Ten-nyo, The Celestial Maiden by Noriko Wako.
広大で深遠な無限の宇宙。宇宙の小さな小さな一つの星、地球。
The vast and profound infinite universe, a small little star in the universe, Earth.
ある日突然、生き物が海の中で弾けた。かけがえのない生き物の一つ。
Suddenly, one day, creatures in the sea popped one of the irreplaceable creatures.
人類、その歴史はなぜか愚かにも憎悪と殺戮の連鎖を繰り返す。
Human race, its history is for some reason stupidly repeating the chain of hatred and slaughter.
ある日、突然、天女が舞い降りた。人類にそっくりな姿をして。
Suddenly, one day, the celestial maiden flew down. It looks just like humankind.
なすすべもなく、絶望の淵でさまよう人類が、天女の慈愛あふれる清らかな舞に魅せられて、うつろな目は希望に輝き、満ちあふれ。
People wandering in the depths of despair without any help, fascinated by the benevolent and pure dance of the celestial maiden. Hollow eyes shine with hope.
天女に触れると、鉄のように冷たく硬くなった体が一瞬にして温かく柔らかに心の奥の奥までも温めた。
When you touch the celestial maiden, a body that is cold and hard like iron, instantly it's warm and soft. It warms the depths of your heart.
暗く凍てつくような阿鼻共感のダークな世界。
The underworld of screaming annoyance that seems to freeze in dark.
グラデーションを描くように、
Like drawing a gradation,
次第次第に歓喜にあふれ、光り輝くオレンジ色の世界を出現させる。
gradually a joyous and brilliant orange world emerges.
ちっぽけな地球で強愛な人類世界が絡み合う。
On a tiny earth, the narrow human world is intertwined.
宗教、人種、国家、イデオロギーなどとは全く異なる位相空間。
Topological space, completely different from religion, race, nation, and ideology.
新たな時空づくり、
Creating a new space-time.
浄化、心直し、世直し。
Purification, reboot your mind, recreate the world.
ありがとう、Thank you。どうもありがとうございます。Thank you very much.
It happens. About every 2 weeks, Lady Liberty takes a nap. She's a sound sleeper and we never wake her up. So, I'm sorry, but you'll have to chat with Lady Liberty at another time. and ask her your questions on another day. But of course, your reservations are good forever. Liberty is forever. There are no exceptions since the great liberation of 2025. A few words before you go, if I may. When you return with your questions, the first thing you will notice is that she still has a French accent. She's French, of course. But you may not know that her bones were designed by a French engineer named Eiffel, who went on to build the Eiffel Tower. Lady Liberty's life wasn't always as easy as you can see it is today. She thought she was home when she first stood up on the streets of Paris and looked around. There she is in Paris. You can see she's still got her fresh copper skin. When she arrived in New York, however, there was nowhere for her to stand. No pedestal in the harbor. Typical of the politics of the time before the Great Liberation, everyone expected everybody else to do the work and pay for the pedestal to be built. Lady Liberty went from being an object of admiration in Paris to putting out her hand for money in Washington Square Park. As everyone knows, after the Great Liberation, Lady Liberty stepped down from her pedestal. As she will tell you, the thing she missed most, standing in the harbor for 150 years, welcoming 12 million immigrants to America, immigrants like herself, the thing she missed most was trees and growing things. And now, with those dark days finally behind us, the days of war and hunger and want, the days of strife before the Great Liberation, now she's decided to take things easy, as you can see. She now works only part-time and appears in the harbor only when the weather is sunny. The rest of the time, you will find her in one of New York City's 1,700 parks. She plans to visit them all, with the last one on her tour a return to Madison Square Park. She jokes that she'd like to look around this time. Each year, a tree is planted in her honor in 190 countries around the world. Lady Liberty's last official duty was celebrating the Great Liberation of 2025 and the end of war. The video of that event got 9 billion views on YouTube. An immortal symbol of liberation. She never wavered, never doubted. So, on behalf of Lady Liberty and myself, I'd like to thank you for coming out today, and we look forward to you all visiting again soon. Thank you.
Connect yourself with the nature and acknowledge where we are from, and probably cherishing the nature will make the true freedom come true to us. So let's have meditation for a short while together. So you can close your eyes or whatever, but just feel togetherness. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We the people must contemplate some strange evil. Stop the mandates. A nasty rule by cruel sadists that pricks us all like some rapists. Shoving poison into our veins. I scream, stop son, this is insane. But meteor spin screams right back. Brainwash zombie spin, take the jab. Despite frontline doctors' speech or God's design, pastors preach. Legal jargon arguments cannot bargain nor make sense. To the big boss, king of hate, laughs at a loss. Oh, Bill Gates, downsize the herd, he complains. This is absurd, he's insane. A bloody tyrant calling the shots. Racist violence, no Steve Jobs. Profit from bugs, new upgrades. Now it's all drugs that he trades. Arrest that fool, he's at large. In some yacht pool or cool barge. Share his fortune, far and wide, every portion, tan as hide. Buy low, sell high is the game for apple pie, USA. But mega wealth won't explain sudden bad health with much pain. Is our Lady Liberty torch now a shaky tyranny scorch that burns for hell, damnation, a witchcraft spell sensation? Where is justice and the real truth? TV says, trust us, stay home, don't move. No dancing, no hugs are allowed. Lock down nightclubs, no church crowd. Close up the shops, even the schools. No mom and pops can break the rules, but liquor stores can make us stink. The big bank whores need booze to drink. Play golf and fart, that's quite all right. Shop at Walmart. Hey, the rest, just hang tight. Until you're tabbed by our crew, the poison stab secret brew. Don't data release in 50 years. Will rest in peace all your tears. The doubts will cease. So will the fears. The world's deceased. The blobs will cheer. Juniper champagne, the finest brand. No one complains across the land. Everyone's dead, except the rich. Elon Musk's head has a great itch. To put a chip inside our heads, a new bullwhip. To steer the kids, left or right, up or down. Go and fight for the crown. Hold the fort, work like an ass. Just report, don't give me sass. Help, God, Mother Mary. It's strange and odd, it's rather scary. How can Jeff Bezos be a trillionaire? Where's Lord Jesus? For those who don't care about the homeless, refugees, humble, modest, on bended knee, land of milk and honey, lost horizon. Just for those with money can buy some. Freedom and justice, peace of mind. The rest get busted, mute and blind. Defeat the mandates, a clarion call. Stop all the debates. Just pick up the ball. Get back to normal without fear. This is hormonal, organic cheer. Just clear the fog. Oh, say, can you see? Unblock the cog of the pharmacy that insists to spit upon the world, so gritty and sick to flags unfurled. Everyone heard the truth out loud on the 23rd with a huge crowd. Fauci Doc Device is a false flag trick. Like lab rats and mice, we're all getting sick. They're killing us off. It's been planned long ago. Please don't laugh and scoff. Read the Georgia Guidestones. Or Rockefeller's playbook. See Bill Gates' TED Talk. Come on, fellas, take a look. Don't wait, doubt, or balk. It's all crystal clear. We're the culprits of this COVID fear with all its secrets. A demonic cabal, making money. Perverts having a ball. Have you running. Chasing your tail in constant fear. Hammer the nail for booster cheer. Defeat the mandates. Easy. 1, 2, 3. Stand up. Be great. It's up to you and me. When doormen ask for your vax pass, then it's your task to show some class. Say, no thanks, I'm not sick. No more pranks, stop this shit. This is a fight. Get black and blue. Don't say all right. Say fuck you. Defend our rights as a sovereign being. Animals fight when attacked by something. We're not dumb slaves to some master that must obey, a cruel bastard who claims royal blood and inject your body with some strange blue flood to use the porta potty? Or buy a meal inside some bar? It's a bad deal. Nah, it's gone too far. Forget about it. I'm taking a stand. No need to doubt it. Time to be a man. Another soldier in the army of peace. I feel much nobler. You just God bless your sneeze. Relaxed in faith, without fear of germs. I know someday I'll just be worms. It's ashes to ashes and dust to dust. And until my life crashes, it's in God we trust.
He always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." And he said, "Ah, New York. Yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave, but never do?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And he said, "Why do you think they don't leave?" And I gave him different banal theories. And he said, "Oh, I don't think it's that way at all." He said, "I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves. And the inmates are the guards. And they have this pride in this thing that they've built. They've built their own prison. And so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners. And as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made, or even to see it as a prison." And then he went into his pocket, and he took out a seed for a tree, and he said, "This is a pine tree." And he put it in my hand, and he said, "Escape before it is too late."
No medicine, but it took time to recover. After waking from a long sleep, the first place I visited was Morningside Park. I saw the Statue of Liberty laying down. It was reminiscent of the Buddha's Nirvana pose. I met Zaq Landsberg, who created this sculpture, titled Reclining Liberty. He was setting things up. Its appearance seemed to reflect the current situation in New York and the things going on in my mind. A year later, I look back on the days I spent at Reclining Liberty and trace what happened and what I learned from it. The Fukushima nuclear disaster began on March 11th, 2011. The COVID-19 pandemic also began on March 11th. Disasters threaten our health and deprive us of our freedoms. 27 years ago, I moved from Japan to New York, alone, in search of freedom. I experienced the September 11th attack in New York City and witnessed the loss of peaceful daily life. It was an event that made me realize that I was living in a very fragile reality. I returned to Japan once a year after my father was diagnosed with dementia. However, the COVID-19 pandemic made visiting Japan difficult. I was talking with my parents on video calls, but my father's hallucinations were getting worse. My mother was seriously fatigued from her round-the-clock care for him. During the lockdown, I began folding paper cranes in consideration of people suffering from illness, including my parents. Origami, which is known to all Japanese people, has become a communication tool for people, including parents and children. It has long been taught through one-on-one hands-on demonstrations. Origami cranes have become a worldwide peace symbol after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. When something difficult happens that I can't control, my hands move instinctually and naturally to fold paper cranes. During the pandemic, I started walking in Morningside Park. Nature has healed me and taught me many things. The colder the winter, the more vital the spring, and the more dramatic the return of the new buds. I lay down on the green-covered land and felt connected to my parents and friends who are beyond this sky. I saw dead leaves, dead squirrels, dead birds, and dead rats. I noticed that they became part of the soil. While strolling through the park, I connected with nature. I thought about my life. By overlaying the cycles of life over the changing landscape of the four seasons. In nature, where life and death intersect, the Statue of Liberty lays with her eyes closed. Immediately after Reclining Liberty began living in Morningside Park, my father was hospitalized. His condition deteriorated rapidly, partly because of COVID-19 rules, which rarely allowed family visits. Living in another country, I could only pray for the end of COVID-19 and the recovery of my father's health. I dyed Japanese paper, folded origami paper flowers, and collected them to make a medicine ball. In Japanese, it's called a kusadama. My desire to share the experience of healing via origami came true. I held medicine ball workshops last summer. At these workshops, I met people who were as sick as my father, who were going to be operated on, and many who were worried about the COVID-19 pandemic. These participants and I were healed by connecting over our common wishes for health, peace, and freedom. After 7 months of fighting many illnesses, my father died on December 19th, 2021. My last conversation with my father was on the morning he was hospitalized, the last day he spent at home. My father looked strong, was calm, and was full of words of love that showed his care for his family. He didn't seem to have dementia. I'll never forget the overwhelming feelings I had as my father spoke his last words to me. Remember me. During the 12 years my father suffered from dementia, my family learned a lot from him. I had conflicts with my father because we had different values and ideas for our lives. I moved to New York City to live freely in my own way. I survived in New York without relying on my parents. I showed my father I was free and responsible. In 2010, I held my first solo expedition in Japan entitled Transformation, Question to Myself. My relationship with my father improved gradually when my father came to see my artworks. I returned to Japan every year until 2019. The days I spent with my father helped us heal each other and smooth out our differences. Parents tend to expect children to do what parents think is good. Due to differences between generations and individual values, one person's happiness may not be another person's happiness. Parents and children are unique persons with different constitutions and personalities. During my relationship with my father, we noticed our love was greater than our differences. In these unstable and unchanging times, through mutual understanding with my father, I have been empowered to restore peace and balance in my heart and to believe in a sustainable future. My father, who continues to inspire me, was a mentor throughout my entire life. Now, I'm at a turning point. I had a lot of experiences since I was born, as a child of my mother and father. These experiences became points, and I have aimed to connect the points to make lines, connect the lines to make a surface, and connect the surfaces to make a solid. This shape is beginning to appear. I can think of a kusadama, made in collaboration with workshop participants. Each participant made unique origami flowers out of Japanese paper, dyed in various colors and patterns. The origami flowers are tied together in the center, accepting each other's differences, and they bloom into big flowers. It's a kusadama sphere. It may represent the globe of our earth. Looking at Reclining Liberty, who falls asleep surrounded by Morningside Park's nature, I think of my father, who died with tears and a smile, freed from the fear of death and his attachments to this world. My father and I were freed from long-standing conflicts and found love for each other. I remember the message, freedom, not controlled by anything, that I wrote for my junior high school graduation ceremony. I arrived in New York in search of freedom. I realized I was under the control of my own thoughts. It was myself who was hindering my freedom. Wake up.
So we brought the children here, took pictures, and we've been talking to my children who are about 8, 9 years old about what they feel freedom is and what freedom means to them and what maybe the artist was trying to tell people when he constructed this statue. So one of my children, Ashley Chavez, said, the woman or man who made the Statue of Liberty, maybe they made it for freedom to feel like people can now do what they want to do. Oh, this tape won't stick on anything. The statue, this is by another student called Tyreek Williams. Statue of Liberty is lazy because she feels it's not safe because our liberties are being taken away.
Okay, so today, this is called Threaded. It's a live sustainable art activation. And the purpose and inspiration was to create a piece where it was twofold. So I used a lot of my fabrics that were purchased during my shopaholic days. I was $100,000 in debt. It took me 7 years to get out of it, but now I do a lot of sustainable art activations where I engage with the community because I believe that every single person can make a difference. And now getting out of not being in debt, not being a shopaholic, now I share my story with others through my documentary called Fashion Addict. I also do a lot of presentations, educational workshops, and art. And so for today, I'm getting everybody to write down one sustainable solution that they want to work on. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be clothes. It can be meditation. You want to garden. You want to sleep more. You want to help a community maybe repair, rewear your clothing. So all kinds of things. Because I believe that everybody can make a difference.
What does the statue Reclining Liberty mean to you?
So this is actually very tied into, because think of all the consumption and consumerism. We're so drowning in it, but we can actually free ourselves. So it's twofold. You're freeing yourself knowing that you're already enough. And with the Reclining Liberty and freedom, it's also freedom for all of us. When we free ourselves, we also help to free everyone else.
Smash another door.
My name's Keanu, and
I'm Ojan.
We just showed up here, and I just want to share. It was offered to us that we could talk about anything, so I figured we could talk about our sign. Ojan and I recently just moved to New York, and we started doing listening pop-ups. It's called Here to Listen. So we just understand that there's a lot that we don't understand, and we want to give people the opportunity to speak about their truth and whatever they want to speak about with us, and we just listen. And we've just been doing that all around New York. And so now we're letting you know, right here, message. That's all I gotta say.
No, I think Keanu covered it. If you have anything you want to share, we'll be around the park today. No advice being given, just listening and receiving on this beautiful spring day that might rain, might not.
Zaq, I'm Orin. I have one question about your sculpture. Does it relate to the dying Buddha? Is liberty dying?
Well, I mean, the Buddha doesn't really die, right? So
well, no, Buddha dies and never comes back because he's left. The statues of the reclining Buddha are Buddha's last.
Right, but it's not death like the Western sense of death, right? It's kind of moving on to a different stage.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of what that, like, the West, all the statues stand forever. But the Buddha can be depicted, like, in that stage. So it is a little bit of, like, death of the American Empire, but also a little bit more like, well, maybe there's another stage of this that's different.
Excellent.
Operates according to different rules.
Excellent. I like that.